Very good evening, fellow Foundrymen. It gives me great pleasure in interacting with you all on the occasion of 37th Chapter Day celebrations here at GRT Grand Chennai. We now request Mr. S.V. Ranganathan, Organizing Committee Chairman, to accompany our chief guest of the evening, Mr. Sachin Goel, Vice President, Head-Foundry Business, Ashok Leyland Limited, onto the stage, please. नौकर के लिए Mr. Shaktivel R. Tirunavakarase to accompany Mr. Vinit Jain, National President IIF, onto the stage, please. We now request Mr. Vignesh Raman, Honorary Secretary, IIF Chennai Chapter, to accompany Mr. S. Kuppusamy, National Treasurer, IIF, and Mr. S. Muthukumar, Chairman, Southern Region, IIF, onto the stage, please. Aman. We now request Mr. V.K. Raman, Vice Chairman, Chennai Chapter, and Mr. P. Sindil Kumar, Honorary Treasurer of Chennai Chapter, to join us onto the stage, please. With the blessings of Almighty, all events are bound to be successful, and we would now like to start our 37th Chapter Day celebrations with the Tamil Thai Varthu. Now welcome our Chennai Chapter Chairman, Mr. Shaktivel R. Tirunavakarase, to deliver the welcome address.
Good evening, Malay Vanakkam. Respected National President of IIF, Mr. Vinit Jain, Chief Guest of the evening, Mr. Sanchi Kumar Goel, the most passionate Foundryman of the region and President National Treasurer, Mr. Kuppusamy, energetic and always enthusiastic Regional Chairman, Mr. Muthukumar, Regional Treasurer, Mr. R. Pani Murugan, the guiding lights of this great institution, past national presidents, national council members, regional council members, chapters, mentor, Mr. V.P. Prem Kumar, patch chairman, secretaries of Chennai Chapter, office bearers of the chapter, and my own chapter council, MD, CEOs, plant head of the member companies, supporter of this grand celebration, family members, fellow Foundrymen, ladies and gentlemen, warm welcome to you on this great and grand occasion. With knowledge dissemination as a motto of our chapter, we are here to celebrate the inception of this chapter on the 37th chapter day. We are on the concluding day, maybe the third day, or the final day of the celebration. After me, OC Chairman will brief you about the 3 days program, what we came across, and maybe he will throw lights on how it has went well. As a chapter, we always introspect time to time and reinvent the activity in constant basis and make a move into new possibilities and disseminating knowledge. Just to inform you, the chapter activity has increased a multifold, weekly programs, monthly workshops, seminars, of course, competitions on a regular intervals. So that we received a very good response and a lot of tremendous encouragement from all the member companies and the members. With all of your support, journey is going to continue to nurture creativity and connect innovative ideas wherever it is available and possible. Thanks for all those who have been helping, supporting and partnering with our journey and the progress. Before concluding, once again I welcome you all for this great celebration. Thank you for coming and stay and enjoy the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Shakti sir. We had a very eventful couple of days on the occasion of the 37th Chapter Day celebrations. We now request our organizing committee chairman, Mr. S.V. Ranganathan, to debrief us about this year's Chapter Day celebrations.
Dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, ladies and gentlemen, very good evening to one and all. On behalf of the organizing committee of the Chennai Chapter Day, it gives me immense pleasure to debrief whatever we had planned and we have been executing and seeing through the 3 days. See, Chennai chapter has got a history of celebrating the chapter day in a very grand manner, and this year also we have been this year we actually planned it as a 3-day event, and I would request everybody to go through this thing. I'll just go through this presentation. For the first day, November 12th, we had the works visit conducted, and we went to Amalgamations Value, a very state-of-art manufacturing facility, Industry 4.0, and a lot of robotics and this thing. We could learn a lot of this thing from this visit. In the first half, this was done. In the second half, we went to Ashok Leyland Foundry Division, again a state-of-art facility at Sriperumbudur. So, in the second half, we went to this thing, and then this was on the 19th of November. We had the Iron Symposium. It was a one-day event, and it was inaugurated by the President, Mr. Balavajian of Simpsons and Co. Limited. And then we had the inaugural address by Dr. K.N. Satyanarayana, Director of IIT Tirupati. He threw a lot of light on how the academia and the industry relationship can do wonders for our industry. So then we had the paper presentation by a lot of industry experts covering all the department of foundry processes, right from Mr. T.S. Rao, and who gave us a lot of insights into gating and methoding, and Mr. Raj Mohan from Allied Minerals, the national head from Allied Minerals. He threw a lot of this one on refractory uses of refractories and how the latest trends have been developing in the refractory industry with regards to foundry industry. And Mr. Preetesh Kumar from Foseco gave us a very good insight on green sand molding, the advances in the green sand molding technology. And Mr. V. Bhaskar from Brakes India, he gave us a lot of insights on core shop, the do's and don'ts, and the very enlightening presentation. And we had the last paper being presented by Mr. Samir Kelkar from, he gave us insight into fettling, automation in fettling. So basically what we planned was to cover all the processes in the foundry, this thing, and all the papers were being presented that day. And of course, the second half was the Chennai chapter quiz competition, and 21 teams from various foundries from Chennai chapter participated, and the cast quiz competition, the trophy was, being held by Mr. Nadimuthu. The quiz master was Mr. Nadimuthu. So this was on 19th of November, and today, of course, the third day of the event, where we had the regional cast quiz from this afternoon, and Mr. C. Satyamurthy was the quiz master, and 11 teams from around the region, all the foundry members from quiz participants from around the region participated, from Coimbatore, Shimoga, Hyderabad, and of course, Chennai. So the winners will be, of course, announced later. And now today we are in the midst of celebrating the 37th chapter day. Today I welcome you all once again and take this opportunity to thank you all for being with us in this joyous occasion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ranganathan. We now request Mr. P. Sendil Kumar, Honorary Treasurer, Chennai Chapter, to introduce our chief guest, Mr. Sachin Goel, Vice President, Head-Foundry Business, Ashok Leyland Limited, to the gathering.
And family members, Ellarkum Malai Vanakkam. I am privileged and honored to introduce today's function's chief guest to this others gathering. Mr. Sachin Kumar Goel is leading foundry business in Ashok Leyland and working in Ashok Leyland since last 12 years in various leadership positions. He has a vast experience in supply chain, Lean Six Sigma, process excellence, field quality, and TQM function in Ashok Leyland. Mr. Sachin has got overall 27 rich-eyed experience in manufacturing and service sector. He has worked in process engineering, process design, supply chain optimization, process excellence, change management across various industries. He has worked with automobile, auto components, chemicals, healthcare, retail, and BPO sectors. Currently working in Ashok Leyland as business head for foundry business and is driving for their business transformation. He has been a gold medalist throughout his academia. He is a mechanical graduate engineer from Delhi College of Engineering, Delhi, and he has done MBA from MDI Gurgaon, specialization in operation and strategy. He has also done his Six Sigma belt and CMQOE certification from American Society of Quality, Master Black Belt certification from Indian Statistical Institute, and Masters in Supply Chain from MIT, USA. Change management is most challenging aspect in leadership. Here our chief guest, his core expertise is driving this change management and continuous process improvement. Sir, we welcome him for welcome address.
Good evening, everyone. And it's an honor and pleasure to be part of this esteemed gathering and be a chief guest here. Mr. Vinny Jain, National President, all the Secretariat member of Chennai Chapter, past presidents, all the members of Chennai Chapter and Southern Region, and my fellow industry colleagues, and all the gathering guests present here. I think it's a wonderful experience for me to come here. This chapter, this is a very important day, 37th birthday of this chapter. I have been observing the various activities which has been done by the entire team. And it's really wonderful the way synergy has been created in terms of knowledge sharing, bringing all the industries together and solving the problems. So I compliment the entire secretary team, all the members for bringing this chapter to this level and having the plans to take the next level. So compliments to the all chapter members. In fact, in my total experience, I have seen this is one industry where we have such a nice and great platform where everyone is connected at a common platform. I think I have not seen this kind of networking and common platform with other kind of industries. So in my 12-year experience in Ashok Leyland, I spent most of my time with the OEM side, vehicle side. I joined Foundry a year back, less than a year back. So I don't think there's anything special which I can share which all of you doesn't know, because I can see everyone sitting out here is a veteran of this industry. In fact, I'm learning every day with my team and with my industry colleagues. But yes, I have certain impressions when I joined from OEM side to Foundry, and which is definitely a much more complex operations as compared to assembling the vehicle with few wheels and when we buy the part from all the suppliers and assemble. Certainly it's more complex. But at the same time, I question every day, I discuss with my team that why we do certain things in a different manner. Can we do this in a different manner? So I thought that I can share few of my experiences and impressions which might have certain value add. Can we have a slide please, or some pointer? So just put up some thoughts that how I look at the industry with my limited experience in terms of economic outlook for the industry, how India Inc. is progressing. I think that's first 2 points is all of us are in touch and we are following every day. And then most important is how the foundry industry in India, what are the opportunities and challenges for all of us as a foundry man, and what are the strategies which we are using in Ashok Leyland Foundry, and I think which can work for us, which is working for us. I think very proud moment for all of us when we understand that India is one of the fastest growing economy with 6.5%, although the initial prediction was 7.5% GDP growth. But even 6.5% with the size of Indian economy is a very healthy growth, and which is a good sign for all of us. Every day we heard that sometimes we heard positive news, sometimes there's a negative news. So right side cutting I've taken where we say some depression is haunting us and there could be some kind of recession. But the study says that even if it is there, the percentage of the probability that it will impact India is one of the lowest in terms of, because they're saying 0%. But I think still we can have this 6.5% with a 95% confidence level. It may be around 6% to 6.6%, which I think is a very, very healthy sign. If you look at last 2014 onwards, India 2017 we were at 7th position, and within last 6 to 7 years we reached to 5th position in terms of the large economy. And I think the anticipation is by 2027-28 we will be the 3rd largest economy in the world. So if you see the red line which represents India, which clearly shows that our trajectory is much, much higher, much faster than anybody in the world, and which is a positive sign. And I think no wonder why India is a sweet spot for everyone to invest in. And we, being a foundry man, or being the any industry, I would say, not only foundry industry, it's a wonderful opportunity to be in India, which clearly shows that this growth path we all can enjoy. Yeah, well, there are a lot of growth opportunities, there are challenges, but for example, the recent war scenarios or the interest rate hike by Fed, or the different impact of pandemic or different disruption in supply chains. But I think now the world is coming out from all these challenges and looks like that we'll be moving forward. And there was some good news in terms of raw material softening, price softening front, which was the pain since last 1 year. Of course, this slide was made a week back, so it doesn't include the duty drop of which was announced 3 days back, which will impose some challenges. But I'm sure we have much more robust system in place. When we have faced 2 years back challenges, this will be much easier for us. Can we have? I think most exciting thing which I see in India is it's the first time we see at a country level, leadership level, where we have a very clear-cut articulated vision for the country as well as roadmap inside. So last week I got an opportunity with the SIAM convention and ECMA convention, and very happy that all the cabinet ministers are coming, and they're coming and sharing the roadmap with the all industry man, that this is what they are doing for industry. This is what was not very unusual at a ministry level. So be it the Atmanirbhar Bharat roadmap, or be it the Gati Shakti mission master plan, be it the PLI schemes, all have a very clear intentions
that they want to promote the industry growth. Of course, there are challenges in terms of execution, but the roadmap from Indian government side is very clear and which is going to help us. I am from an automotive background, so you will find some data pertaining to automotive. I think key drivers, if you look at the road construction in India, I think last year we hit around 36 kilometer highway per day, which was the world record. It slightly came down, but still I think it is around 28 kilometers per day, which is a very healthy sign, which will not only give the boost to commercial vehicle, but also the entire infrastructure of India, or be it the minings. A very hefty budget has been kept by the government for the overall development. And I think this FDI is a really good number, that 83.6 billion, which was done last year. And I'm sure this year we'll be closing around 100 billion plus. So all these numbers, if you look at maybe a very macroeconomic way, but if we connect ourselves, somewhere now we can directly connect that. This will give us a surety that we definitely will be having at least 5 to 10% growth in the next 2 to 3 fiscal clearly. This is the data from one of the research which clearly says that even not only India, even at a world level, this is about the foundry industry, which talk about the CAGR of around 5.4%. And 210 billion overall industry which is available, including Europe and Asia Pacific. If we just look at the India level, there was some dip in last 2 years because we understand the obvious reason, but still if you look at this dip was not as bad as in the other part of the world. And automotive sector is one of the major consumer, and good part in India is that we have our own consumption base which is very high. So that's the reason we are kind of recession proof, or the recession is not going to hit that badly to us, and which is we have a 20 billion industry which is not only supporting to the nation but also providing a lot of employment generation to the country. This is our own data wherein this sector we work on MNSCV, be it in a heavy commercial vehicle, LCV, passenger vehicle, tractor. I think from, if you look at April to October this year versus as compared to last year, we have around 40% growth, which seems to be a very high number. But even if you look at the projection, we anticipate around 15 to 20% growth this year, and with next 5 years CAGR must be around between 3 to 6%. I think it will be safer to assume around 5 to 6% growth year on year from a long-term perspective. Yeah. And I think while we see that the demand is growing for foundry, not only India but across the world, you see there are many countries where the capacity is shrinking, not only in the Western world, which is US and Europe, but also in China, which is the #1 casting foundry producers. So how the situation will be managed? One side, there is a demand growth, healthy demand growth, and second side, we have shrinkage in the capacity. This clearly articulate that there will be headroom. In fact, the kind of inquiries I'm getting from since last 1 month is very, very encouraging. But I think if I look at even my span of last 15, 20 years, it is not the first time when the opportunity has knocked at the door of India. It is probably the third time. We missed the bus last 2 times. So it's not going to happen that there is a demand and we have a capacity and the ball is going to fall in our kitty. So we need to have certain extra improvements. So while we have so many challenges in the casting industry, right from availability of raw material to fluctuations, Sanjay's the fluctuations, then our demands is very, very fluctuating. We have very high fixed cost intensive. Talent availability and talent retention is a challenge for us. Our cost of poor quality is much higher than other industries. So among all these challenges, what I feel is the quality of the product and sustainability is 2 areas which perhaps needs a different degree of innovation. So while I see that there's a clear-cut demand, but the kind of quality level which is expected, we are still measuring our quality level in percentage. I think that's the only industry, if I look at from OEM perspective, who is measuring the rejection in percentage. I think everybody is talking about PPM, that too in 2 digits. So in some of my company presentation, they still started using PPM, but that's in lakhs. So I said, yeah, come to percentage back. It's very difficult to count number of zeros. So I think this is this has been talked down, I think, in every presentation. But it means one thing is clear: the way we are working it can give us some incremental improvement, but not the level where the customer is expecting. I have some few customers who are Indian international OEM where they are importing the castings, which is at least 15 to 20% higher cost. But they are ready to take from them, but not ready to take from India because they feel the quality is much superior. So that's a clear-cut opportunity, but we need to gear up for that. Coming to sustainability, if you see when we are saying the capacity is shrinking across the world, what is the reason? The reason is the pollution, other norms which are there. We can't say that it will not come to us. Today, if you look at the emission of vehicle, we are at BS6 level. And the best country in the world is also at BS6 level. So we are nowhere we are a third world country or we are much behind that something which is happening in US and UK will not happen in India. I think just a matter of few years. But as a industry, how gear up we are. So I think that's the area which we all need to look at. So how we are looking is, so I was talking to the team that what OEM perspective we can look at is, see what is very important, how I see is that OEM look at this is the print, this is the dimension, you are a casting supplier, you make a casting in this weight and all that. But if you look at the pain at the OEM side, it's much more higher, wherein lightweighting is one of the very, very key project for all the OEMs. While what the impression OEMs has, sorry to say, they say that casting supplier always want a more weight because our pricing is on per kg basis. Right, so we might be happy that we are getting certain extra bucks, but we don't understand how much we are losing in the long term. So this is one area I think, and of course quality improvement we discussed in the previous slide. Another, we can go to the next slide. No issue. The another area is the entire re-engineering of the process and the product. I believe the quality and the cost 50% has been decided at the design stage itself. How you set up your plant, that determines your 50% cost. That cannot come down because you have already hard-coded machines. That cannot be shifted. When you design a product, you decide your 50-60% cost and the cost of poor quality. So that re-engineering is fundamentally required, but process optimization, you can have certain gains. So that's one area which when I see, in fact, I asked my team, why don't you look at the re-layouting of the whole plant with certain objectives in my mind. Another is adoption of advanced technology. I think still we being one of the largest foundry in India, we see that there's a huge gap when we compare ourselves with respect to the latest foundry in the world. I'm not saying in India. So many advanced technologies are available, but we don't have that courage to invest in those technologies. We feel that we are able to manage, but then I think somewhere we will be left behind if we are not getting into those new technologies. A robust process control and quick feedback loop. I think this is one area, if you look at the OEM, they have far better management of quality systems because they are directly facing the recall and other quality issues. And anything goes wrong, they have to pay much higher penalties. So in fact, the sand is very important and critical for making the quality. The person who is checking the sand is in lab and guy who is managing the sand parameters at a different shop. So there is no communication. Only some disaster happens, then only communication goes. Whereas this is not the way the whole world is working. So if we can't go for Industry 4.0, but at least some frugal way we can look at, how do we shorten those communication cycle and those loops, which may help us. Tier 2 vendor development. I think if you look at the expectation from all OEM is that you cannot achieve the quality target until unless you have the value addition and hand-holding with your next supplier. And every OEM has a very big supplier quality team who is working with all the suppliers to improve the quality. But when I see foundry industries, we have a far bigger challenge because one, our raw material is not that standard or that not specified because the scrap comes from multiple areas and it has multiple specifications. How do you control that? Second side is even from our side also, how much effort we have to look at that quality or supply chain areas or understanding the pain of that area. So I believe that is one area which needs to be looked at. We are trying to focus on that area and we have good results. Supply chain improvement is in terms of entire visualization and collaboration with supplier, that is one area. So, and last is the environment and safety. How do we build more safety culture? These are the areas which are, I think, very prominent in other industries. And we just need to look at how do we design those systems, copy paste those systems for betterment of Foundry. Yeah, please. So one of the example which we are trying to do in the frugal way is Foundry 4.0. It's very similar to Industry 4.0. Today we have multiple machines who have a lot of data, but do with that machine can talk to each other, and certain decisions can be automated rather than having the human dependency. So I think that's one area we can look at, and this will actually reduce the human variation. Also, to some extent, it will help us to retain the talent, the young talent, because they will find this job is more interesting as compared to managing with the manual workforce. So if you look at the trend in the market, industry trend, worldwide trend, there's a very interesting trend which I see, which is people have understood that if we have to fight this uncertainty or work in this VUCA world, we have to have much more strong muscle, but at the 50% or lesser risk. I see a far better collaboration happening across industry. If you see the example, for battery manufacturing, there's a plant set up by Suzuki, Toshiba, Denso. So somewhere they are a competition, somewhere they have a different interest, but they are ready to collaborate with each other. The second example is the old example with Airtel, Vodafone, Idea set up the Indus Tower. Earlier they were having their independent towers, and now setting up a joint company, they've divided their fixed cost by 1/3. In telecom industry, you have after the licensing fees, setting up the tower is the second biggest fixed asset. But that's how they become. I think Indian telecom industry is the most competitive industry in the world. Then you see the example of Daimler and BMW, where they are working together with shared mobility. I think there are a number of examples which we have. But how many examples we have in foundry industry? At least with my limited tenure, I don't see much. I've seen some good story. I listened some good story in pockets in Coimbatore belt and all that. But I think this one area which we need to look at. Next slide, please. So I think the areas where I clearly see that we all can synergize, and it's not about the big foundry and small foundry. I think the pain is same, whether it's a small foundry or a big foundry, is raw material procurement, low cost automation. If one industry is doing something low cost, why can't we copy paste? Why can't we have one vendor who can do for everyone? Skill development center. We understand in Coimbatore there's some effort is happening, but today retaining the skill and attracting is very big challenge. So this is one area which definitely is the priority area. With the latest regulation of the power cost increase in Tamil Nadu government, I think this power procurement is another big challenge for all of us, which I think with together with synergy we can have some collaborative efforts. Part development process, I think we are still working with the conventional way, whereas we have 3D printing, other things are available, but how many of us can afford that? So can't we have a joint facility which we all can work together and we can reduce the lead time? Today that's one of the requirement for all the OEMs, that when we give the part, it should be developed within 1 week time, whereas we take a 1 month, 2 month time. Sand reclamation, I think this is one of the very important aspect. We waste or we use a lot of sand, which is a natural resource. Can we have the joint reclamation facilities, and it will be good for the sustainability point of view also. And similarly, the R&D effort for improving the process efficiency. I feel these are the areas which we should have the joint synergy, and this is a wonderful platform where we can use this platform. And from Ashok Leyland side, I would like to throw my hat that I am ready to lead. My team is ready to lead. If any of that area we have to lead, and not only Chennai chapter, but rather across India level, so that we can make our foundry industry much more competitive. If I summarize, we see that it's a very good time. Amrit Kal, Mr. Modi said it's Amrit Kal, from 75 years to 100 years. We have to make sure that we should become more than 10 trillion. We should become a developed nation. So there's a very clear-cut, defined, smart goal he has identified, and there's a roadmap available. And I feel very lucky and privileged that I am working in this area, and I'm part of the Team India at this point of time. We are the second largest foundry industry in the world, but I think we should now aim for the first #1 industry, but that will only happen when we have a quality and sustainability in the mind, not only the cost. China plus one is a buzzword in the whole world. I think this is most favorable for us in India, because China plus one means actually become China plus China, from China to India. Industry collaboration we discussed in last slide, and I think this chapter is doing a wonderful job. We need to take it up at the next level. Continuous focus on sustainable and renewable energy resources. That's very important, not only for the Mother Earth, but also to retain our profitability. And joint R&D investment, especially in the new technology, Foundry 4.0, and ensuring that robust process control systems. So I think these are some of the areas which we are trying in pockets, and we'll be happy to share our resources, our plans with anyone who would like to share. And my team is very open. So thank you very much. And once again, compliment to the Chennai chapter, all the officers there, Mr. Shaktivel, Vitnesh, Raman, everyone doing wonderful job. Thank you very much.
To the economy and future of foundry industry, which highlighted where we stand as India and where we would be in coming years, and the innovations required for improving our quality and for being sustainable, and the strategies required for being a top-class casting supplier as a country. We now would request Mr. S. Kupusamy, National Treasurer IIF, to felicitate Mr. Sachin Goel with the traditional Angavastram. We now request Mr. SRV Ramanan, past President IIF, to felicitate Mr. Sachin Goel with the memento, please. Thank you, sirs.